Alright, whenever you're ready, I am. Let's get it. I'll probably rotate through a few different characters throughout the course of this as well.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so first game not too bad. I like your use of the back air to call out the jumps. On my last stock, I started to try and be a bit more I guess, mindful of those, right? So I'm not just giving you those free back airs. And I feel like that's where when you really struggled to kill, because I was kind of slowing my pacing down a bit, watching a lineup a bit more. Like there, you tried to grab with the blue and stuff like that, and then made sure that I could grab by those. I think honestly, like when you're in a position like that and you're fighting someone, you had those purples. You don't always have to use arrows. You can use that purple side B to start pressuring from afar, and then come in with another color, right? And then try and hit me. Because when I'm at those higher percents, you're going to be able to land a hit. Or landing a hit with other colors is oftentimes just as effective. So maybe you force me into shield and then you come up and grab me, or maybe you knock me with the purple side, but then you go out there and forward it with another color or something like that. So I think you don't want to just you don't want to keep your Pikmin like acting like they're all the same. Like, yeah, definitely grab with the blue and stuff if you can, but try and string them together so you're making the most out of each of them. You know, maybe try and get a yellow to use the range there so you can clip with an F smash or an up smash or something like that, and just utilizing their different strengths and however you can.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go!
界を変える。
Nice. I will say, you're getting really focused on doing these specific things in areas. So, like, when I'm at the ledge, it feels like you're always trying to reach with the back air. When you want to get a kill, a lot of the time it feels like you're always trying to force it with back air. And there are times where I'm just waiting it out, and then I can try to intercept you. And I think you'd be better off, like, I think it was the second stock you took from me where it was like back air, back air, back air. Then you eventually call me with the purple up smash, which is pretty good. But it's like, you're trying to force it, but I'm not, if I'm not going in on you like that, it's just you just sitting there kind of opening yourself up, and potentially letting me acclimate to your timings. So you want to not just give up your entire thing. 'Cause there's definitely a time and place to pressure with back air like that, where you're throwing it out a lot. But if you're just only doing that as your main source of killing, it's going to become too predictable, and you're just going to give your opponent a lot more than they're actually kind of deserving of. So don't focus too hard on that. You know, it is a strong option, but it's not your only option for landing kills and stuff. I would watch those wing Pikmin dashes. I'm not punishing them, but they're not netting you much, except kind of just putting you in a rough spot. Because I look at it this way, right? You're doing it at a distance where it's reactable enough. So where if I was more kind of on point with my cloud, you'd be getting hit, right? Because you're not hitting me with anything, so you're kind of just rushing in there, getting hit, and you're not covering yourself with any hitbox, so that doesn't inherently protect you. So I'd say watch out on those a little bit if you're not finding any hits off them. But I did like your use of F smash more at the ledge. You know, you stop trying to always commit to that back air read, and I think that worked a lot better for you, mixing it up. So I didn't exactly know what you were going to do, and you were able to capitalize much better, kind of at that safer distance.
2, 1, go!
I thought I was gonna grab.
So you're going into that local tomorrow. How do you do it your last one? Oh, wait, tomorrow's your first one, right?
Yeah, my first
okay. Are you feeling nervous about it?
Not really. Like the most thing I'm nervous about is like just remembering stage picks and stuff like that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
The way I approach stage stuff is like I know I have general stages that I really like with Olimar, like FD and Town and City are probably my two most preferred stages in a lot of matchups. But I try to think about what, you know, put it in relation to your character or the opponent you're fighting, where it's like, okay, who am I fighting? Okay, they have, you know, if it's Mario, you don't go Yoshi's Story. If it's, you know, most characters, you don't go Kalos. If it's like, you know, like a Roy or Chrom, you might be more hesitant to go somewhere like Smashville just because it's a little bit more compact. Just try to think about what you specifically don't want out of those stages, and usually I find that's a better way to do it. You don't have to think too much about it. Sometimes you can also go with a comfort pick, like whatever your preferred stages are in general. When you're practicing and stuff, is going to be probably more beneficial for you than objectively just like, oh, I think this stage is better against this character. Aside from like the really rare ones like, you know, Mario and Yoshi, where you just want to deny him that kind of cheesy advantage that he gets normally. But as long as you're kind of like taking it slow and giving yourself, you know, enough thought, like, okay, I can do this. Don't think too much about it. You'll probably be fine. In that regard.
So I think Kalos definitely made that a lot harder than it needed to be for you, just because disadvantage can be a bit rough there. But yeah, the big thing I feel like I'm seeing in your play right now is that you're constantly falling back into this trap of go for this, go for this, go for this. Like your dash grabs of those blues get really predictable because I'm watching your lineup, right? Like you saw you land that one finally at the end, but for a while you just had that blue and you just didn't kill me with it. Like you try and go for the grab, but you got punished. I was really naring on top of you a lot, trying to kill Pikmin and punish you there for that. And I think sometimes, you know, if your Pikmin are dying,
Yeah, if you have a fresh purple, you can probably up smash out a shield or something. But if Pikmin are low on health, or if I have like a fresh snare or something like that, there's a good chance it's gonna chunk through it. So if you're not uh already tracking how stale it is or something, you know, there's a good chance your pigment can die. So sometimes you just have to get out of there. Otherwise, you might not get the exact punish you want, or maybe you need to like neutral out of shield or something as opposed to trying up smash and mix it up. But you're falling into the trap where it's like you keep wanting certain punishes and you're trying to force them, but you're not recognizing when they're not working and trying to change them, I feel. Because there's definitely like some solid strategies in your gameplay where it's like, okay, you'll kind of sit, you know, in a reactable distance away from the ledge, you'll hit your back airs, you'll hit your up smashes, but it feels like your tempo is usually all the same. Like if you get a hit, great, you'll push for it, but you don't change up the tempo by like, oh, now I'm gonna like hard approach my opponent and do this, or now I'm gonna catch them slipping because they waited too long. It feels very, all right, if I hit my opponent, when he comes in, cool, I can go off that, but that's it. And I think that makes it a little too predictable for you. No, the bonk. That was unfortunate. Do you feel like you have a good grasp on when you need to mix up kind of your own tempo and when you're approaching someone? Or do you think, because for me when we're playing, it feels like that's one of the things you tend to struggle with more. Like you'll make some adaptations and you'll make those adjustments, but it's like it feels very within this narrow kind of strategy of how you want to play the character.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I don't know.
Well,
I think it's just I've been playing like way too much Wi-Fi lately because it's just been like always the same exact options every single time.
yeah, and no, that's definitely something that can happen. It can get very stagnant when you're doing it over and over and over again. And that's why, you know, I'm bringing it up, like, you know, don't be afraid to experiment. Run in at me, intercept me instead, right? Be like, no, I am going to forward air you, I am going to do this, you know? I was watching Shuton at the Smash World Tour this last weekend, and I was really enjoying his use of, like, how aggressive he would get with his runoff fairs off stage, right? He'd fight people and be like, oh, I'm out here with you already. And he'd go out there and he'd just kill him, right? He would just change it up. You go, okay, normally you would expect him to stay on stage, do something. He's like, no, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to hit you, and it's going to work. And that type of tempo switch can really throw your opponents off guard. But one of the things that, you know, myself or him or really any top Olimar does when we're playing at our best is that it's just, there's an ideal kind of strategy that we have, or an ideal setup or whatever it is, but nothing is like set in stone. We kind of are constantly adjusting based on where we're at and where our opponent's at, so we don't feel like, oh, I have to get this blue grab, or I have to get this F smash, or this, you know, setup here, or whatever it is. And that's what I want you to try and get out of you, is a little bit more of that kind of on the fly, like, creativity and changing what you're doing and going, oh no, I can do this setup instead. I can try and hit him here, instead of like, I have to do this. And that's not to say you can't stick with like your more, you know, traditional playstyle, maybe if it's more defensive or zoning or whatever it is when it's working. It's just adding in those sprinkles of mix up to help differentiate it and make it harder for your opponent to keep track of what you're doing.
Remember to keep in mind too when you're hitting, when you're fighting a character with such an aggressive out of shield game, someone like Link who's got that up B really strong. I think it comes out frame 7 or 8. Let me double check real quick. You're gonna need to be tighter with that spacing on those aerials, right? So you're not landing, because you did that one pretty high up, so it was hitting the top of my shield. So I was able to catch you with the up B out of shield there. His up B is frame 7, right? So you need to be hitting it very close to the ground if you want to. You could also, you know, if you want to try up B, use your up B like a third jump, maybe do like a rising downer, land on the platform because we were near that. Stuff like that, or drift away and mix it up. But you got to be a little bit more careful about just hitting the shield outright, because I will keep up being, you know, or anyone else who's got a really generous out of shield game. But if you can, because if you can start kind of making me whiff those, then I'm a bit more hesitant about doing it, because I'm like, okay, if he's spacing stuff right, I gotta be more careful now. Nice. That shield poke was a crime.
Those are fantastic stock. I really like that run off dare there, the change up on the grab without using the blue. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That general flexibility where I don't know what we're going to do. And you recognize that, okay, my opponent is hesitating or they're not exactly sure. Let me change up the tempo and hit them. And that type of gameplay is so important. Because, yeah, it is crucial to have that kind of foundation where you can go, all right, I'm keeping them out or I'm stopping them or I'm doing whatever. But knowing how to just swap that up on the fly is how Olimar players really are able to push that advantage, because it's not like true combos a lot of the time. Yeah, there is true combos, but it's like understanding, okay, they're not reacting fast enough. I found a little advantage, or I found an opportunity to get it on them. Let me push that. Like right there, you kept running off, right? So I was more ready for it that time, even more so. And this time I was like, okay, now I can punish him if he goes off. Whereas last time I knew you were going to do it, I dodged. But I just focused on recovering. Agreed there. I was like, alright, I should have enough time to pull this bomb, but nope. Oh my god. Alright. I did not expect that to do that.
Neither did I.
Yeah, so what I mentioned earlier in that game, how right I started to catch on to your general aggressive timings off stage, and how the fact that you were kind of overextending there, and then I started to punish you as time went on because you kept doing it. Another thing I wanted to point out is off stage, when you were in disadvantage, there's a lot of times where you would just try and fight your way back on, and it did hit me a few times, but then there was also times where I just started adjusting to it, and I'd let you whiff, or I'd, you know, bait out an attack, and then I'd go hit you again. And that's why you can't always attack right out of disadvantage, or just because they're near you. Sometimes it's better just to go straight to the recovery if they're not directly trying to hit you. As well as when you grab the ledge or something like that, you don't need to immediately get back on stage and attack. Sometimes it's better to get back on stage and just reset. Right? Like, if you get up just because you have a moment to attack, it could be more beneficial to just focus on, okay, let me get out of here, get some space, and then get back into it. Because if you attack and you miss, then you're going to get punished. And then you're back into the same spot where you didn't need to be because you gave up that opportunity to get away. So that's what I mean, like, just, you don't want to fall into the trap of, like, always doing something just because it works once. I think at, you know, lower level play and maybe early on in bracket or something like that, when you're practicing with people, you can definitely get away with it more. But if you fight someone who you know is a bit more kind of keen to your strategies, you need to be more ready to swap it up on the fly. If you notice it's not working once or twice. That move is massive on the last few hits, especially. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I kept doing dares out of like
You
disadvantage
did.
a lot.
You did actually. That's exactly what you were doing. Where it kind of goes back to that thing I was saying about last game, where even off stage, it's like you're attacking when you don't need to, right? You're like, okay, I need to fight my way out of this. Like, no, just focus on getting out of there. And same thing with kind of almost like mashing whistle at a disadvantage too, where you're like, okay, I got grabbed, a better whistle here. It's like, well, are you keeping track of if he's paying attention to your whistle timings? Have I been punishing those? I've been doing down throw fair quite a bit recently these last few games. So whistle doesn't really handle down throw fair the best, especially at those higher percents, because it takes so long to come out. It usually fucks up your timing, right? So that's when it's better to maybe just jump away or neutral air dodge.
Yeah, I need to start doing neutral air dodge a lot.
Like you have to kind of keep track of your own habits just like that, just as much as your opponent is.
3, 2, 1, go!
So yeah, like there you just dared. There it was again. Honestly, you managed to keep your double purple there, and that made a huge difference, right? It was so hard for me to get in. And, you know, you kind of just space back that mid-range. We're throwing them a lot. We're catching me when I'd hesitate or something up close. Like, they are brutally difficult to deal with, as I'm sure you know from when we've played before, if the ball control, or when you've used Olimar, right? But the big things there that where you need to kind of clean it up is just making, you need to take control when you're getting hit, because you're going just through the motions of panicking. It's whistle, it's down air, it's whatever it is. You did both of them that game. And that's when you have to slow down and ask yourself, like, what am I even doing? Why am I doing this, right? And that plus mixing up your game plan so you're not super linear, knowing when you got to change up the tempo is going to be your biggest thing to really kind of elevate yourself. and it's going to make it much easier for you to get wins more consistently. Because one, doing both of those means you're going to be more aware of what you're doing and you're not kind of panicking as much, but it's going to help kind of calm those nerves, help get those last hit situations more reliably in your favor, because you're thinking about it on average more and you're taking control, as opposed to letting your kind of gameplay just do whatever feels quote unquote natural. Okay, so that game you had one really big standout habit, and I want to see if you recognized it. It wasn't the same thing we've been talking about. It wasn't the whistle or anything, but I want you to let me know if you called it. If not, we'll point it out, and I think it'll kind of be telling to the same issues we were talking about before.
The air dodge?
No. You were spot dodging a ton. Like, it was almost like a panic, like flinch. Every time you would whiff, or I'd be around you, or you'd mess up, it was spot dodge, right? And that's what I'm talking about, where it seems like you don't even have control of it, because you're kind of just going through, you're like, oh no, I whiffed, I gotta get out of here, I don't want to die, right? But you have shield, you have attack again, you can roll, you can jump, you have a variety of options. And, you know, you don't want to just kind of panic and give those away, right? Olimar is, yes, he's a light character and Ganon's scary, but when you just keep doing it after every single time and you're not catching yourself, you're not thinking about it, then it's just giving away all that information for one good read from the Ganon to where you just die. So this game, you know, you can spot dodge, that's fine, there's a time and place for it, but I want you to try and be more aware of that so you're not just kind of panic throwing it out.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, I accidentally air dodged and jumped. Okay, you definitely still had some good spot dodges there, so that's good, right? Like it wasn't nearly as bad as that last game. It felt like you were more trying to sprinkle them in. Definitely sometimes where I could tell you kind of just absolutely shook, and I get that it's Ganon. I think he is one of those characters where he's kind of limited in how he can play the game. So it's fine to stay really heavy to that, you know, maybe a singular strategy of just camp him out, make him approach, punish him when he comes in, things like that, right? It's okay to keep it simple because you don't always need to have the most complex plan. So I think you executed that pretty well there. One thing I do think though is that once again at the ledge, I'm having a bit of an easy time because your movement really telegraphs what you want to do. A lot of the time when your back's to me, I know the back air is coming. When you're walking forward, I know the F smash is coming. Maybe finding a way to keep that a little bit more ambiguous, or if you're unsure, that's fine. Ganon is awkward to ledge trap, so sometimes you can just kind of sit back there and then not even necessarily need to get a punish, but wait till he gets on stage more to get an opening on him. But overall, I thought that game was much better than the first one. Oh no, I air dodged the wrong way. My thumb slipped. Oh my gosh. That was absolutely crazy. I did not think that was going to kill. So that game, I tried to change up my general pacing a little bit, play a little bit more mid-range to intercept as you were getting me. I honestly really liked what you did in the first stock, where you kind of went out there, you mixed up your ledge game, right? You went for the jab, run off, intercept with an aerial, right off the stage. I think that was really good. That's that mix-up what I'm talking about. I wasn't ready for it. Second stock, you managed to flip my nair with the down air. So third stock, I was like, okay, I gotta be real careful. You know, you have a good understanding of where I'm going, and it was making it a bit awkward for me. But on your end, you know, you were knocked off stage, you'd be put off, and you would start swinging again, where you try and throw pigment, and I'm just out there hitting you, right? When sometimes it's better to just maybe drift back and throw them if you want to, get away from me, so then you can use your up B to try and outmaneuver me, get to the ledge or whatever it is, and leave yourself less vulnerable.
Yeah.
All right, so we got time for one more game, so I'm gonna swap up the character one more time for the last one. Okay. That was honestly not bad. You know, you did end up getting put in disadvantage quite a few times, but you usually made it back decently, getting those good smash attacks, getting combos and stuff on stage, so it was keeping it relatively competitive. Honestly, the big things that I would think were your big flaws there were a lot of what we were talking about before. You'd get back on stage sometimes and you'd immediately swing. And it would just make it really easy for me to come punish you. So I think it's a larger issue just overall, like, and it kind of bleeds into different aspects of your gameplay where you're not kind of acknowledging what the game state is enough to where you can go, okay, I have to not attack here. I have to not kind of fall into that trap. And I know maybe Wi-Fi could breed bad habits or might help exacerbate that problem sometimes because it feels very stagnant. You're not getting the most kind of challenging practice in certain ways. But, you know, it's okay to maybe start with that style where you do want to attack. But if it's not working, you have to, when you're getting hit again, right, when you're getting punished again for doing it, that's when I really need you to kind of look inward and go, okay, why am I getting hit here? Ask yourself why. Oh, it's because I attacked, or it's because I tried to punish him, but I was too slow or something. So now you evaluate that, you acknowledge that it was a mistake, and then you try and find up, you know, you try and correct it with a different issue. Because that is your biggest thing, is just you're not giving certain areas of your gameplay the same level of attention you should, right? When you're on stage and you're hitting me with a combo or something like that, it seems like you're giving it some focus, or maybe you'll try and go for a tech chase with a read with a smash attack or something, and I saw you go for those, and those are really good. But I need you to give that same attention to your disadvantage when you're losing. Pay attention to yourself. What are you doing? Why are you attacking? Even when you're in neutral, right? When you're changing up your game plan, what are you doing, right? Think about every single one of those steps because they're all equally important.
Yeah.
But at your tournament, you know, I don't want you to go in and try a bunch of new strategies that you might not be super familiar with. If it's your first time, I definitely want you to try your general, you know, play how you know how to play. Just be mindful of when you're, you know, maybe you get hit, maybe something doesn't work or they punish you. Take a note of that so you can try and change it up in the future, right? Just don't keep doing things for the sake of doing them just because they worked once. You know, work, try it. If you see they're adapting, if you see it doesn't work, you know, make that adjustment and then keep playing. But let me know how your tournament goes. And what you feel like you did right or wrong. I'd love to hear about that though.
Okay.
Do you have any last minute questions or anything?
Not really, no.
Okay. I will let you know when this lesson's uploaded, and I'll see you around.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day.